And thanks for having me. For logistics, I think we did far better than we have been doing last time. We were with INEC from the time of the distribution of sensitive materials on Thursday. They did that across the local governments, and the sensitive materials moved down to the local governments on Thursday.
Mm-hmm.
And on election day proper, they also did well in logistics. At least most of the polling booths started on time. Most of the INEC officials were able to get to the polling units on time. Between 8, 8:39, most of the polling units were operational.
Mm-hmm.
But the little hitch with the deployment was that our observers noticed that most of the INEC officials came to the polling units without PU results. And this was flagged as early as the INEC officials were in the locations. Most of our observers were able to
Are you still there,
flag
Mr.
the issue
Ayoka?
that some of the INEC people came in quite in time, but without polling unit result sheets.
Okay, great. There are people who have claimed that the turnout in Imo State was very, very poor, as opposed to what was expected, as opposed to the number of people who've been registered for this election. What was your, what did you see as the Situation Room? Was the turnout great? Again, many have also queried some of the results that came out from places that have experienced insecurity and of course fear over time, and the governor getting more votes in those places where the votes to the turnout was very low.
Yeah, right from the beginning, voter turnout was an issue for us. We were very much concerned about how voter turnout was going to turn out, bearing in mind the background of the Imo election. We had the February 2023 general elections, and which results people were not very comfortable with generally. And then coupled with the fact that Imo had the issue of the last gubernatorial election that was upturned and the result declared by the Supreme Court. So that's setting the background to the election that we went into. So there was that fear that we are going to have no voter turnout.
Mm-hmm.
But eventually we had lower than what we are even expecting. It was like people were completely disconnected with what was happening. We were in the field that Saturday moving around, and we found out that people were not coming out to vote. People were disconnected. People were like, it's not our business. You could see people moving out, doing some other things, and not actually heading to the polls. So the turnout in the areas we covered, and from the reports of our observers, was very, very low, even lower than we were hoping.
Okay, let me come to you, Ms. Abimbola. Let's talk about Kogi State. The very shocking things, the first shocking things that we heard about Kogi State was the fact that sudden result sheet surfaced online. I mean, Senator Malai had come out also to speak about the fact that the result was already planned to be rigged. But then share your thoughts on all of the things that were termed as irregularities in that election in Kogi State. Ms. Abimbola, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Go.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you. Go ahead, please.
Okay, thank you very much for having me again on this program.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, Kogi State, the governorship election on 11th of November held. And we also, just as my colleague mentioned, there are areas where we saw a lot of improvement. Improvement in the area of security personnel that were deployed across the state, the various local governments. We saw very high, massive deployment of security, which was impressive because there have been a lot of tension and fear of electorates wanting to come out to cast their exercise their franchise as a result of past experience of serious violence that happened in 2019 election. So that fear was, but the high deployment of security agencies in the state on this particular election also puts the fear to rest in so many, the hearts of so many citizens. And also we saw that INEC has also, improved in so many areas. We saw, the deployment of INEC officials, INEC materials, started on time. The sensitive materials from CBN across to various local governments, various areas, ward, happened in time. But however, we are also shocked, at the disposition of INEC to see that ahead of even before the election started, there are already filled, result sheets, that were taken to some local governments and then some polling units. And so that make, the position of INEC, very questionable in terms of is INEC really, really transparent as the electoral empire that they are when it comes to election issues? Are they really transparent? Because if ahead of the election, before election even started, we are already seeing, filled result sheets, from INEC officials. That is really, really very disturbing. And so we think INEC have a lot of answers to give Nigerians, not just Kogi, but to give Nigerians how that happened, and why that should happen.
Okay.
So yes, there were a lot of irregularities that we saw in Kogi State in this election, and of course that made the election in that community, in that local government, to be totally cancelled. Election could not hold as a result of this, and this is because the electorate in that community were very vigilant to have actually noticed that. That shows that might have even happened in some other places where they were not vigilant to have noticed that. So for this particular community, they were vigilant and they stood their ground that they are not going to vote because of that happened. And that, of course, made INEC to cancel election in that location.
Yeah. Let me come in there quickly. I mean, you already took out the questions from my mouth, because I was going to say that as civil society organizations, were questions asked, how did those results sheets get to? I mean, because they look stamped and they looked authentic. So, of course, has INEC been able to answer how those results found themselves into the hands of the people, and how they were already filled? Again, Senator Dino Malaye, his Social Democratic Party counterpart, both are asking for an outright cancellation of the elections in itself, because they've called it a charade of sorts. And of course, in that election, closely following the All Progressive Congress, is the Social Democratic Party, who had more votes than Senator Dino Malaye. What are your thoughts on the total cancellation of that election?
Okay, yes, you did ask me two questions. Let me quickly respond to the first question.
Yes.
Yes, INEC, that is part of why I said Nigerians are expecting INEC to answer that question and come out and give us an explanation. Why should there be field results sheets, just even when election have not commenced in that particular, polling units, those polling units in that Ogori, specifically in Ogori Magongo local government, central part of Kogi State. So INEC have not given us explanation yet. They said they are still investigating. Investigation is going on. But however, they came out to say election has been cancelled in those polling units across the world in that local government, and they are still investigating. And there's going to be a rerun. INEC have come out to give a date, which is 18th of November, for that rerun in that local government. So, but we are still yet to hear INEC to explain to us what really happened. Why should there be results, a field result sheet ahead of, even when the election have not commenced in that polling unit? INEC have not come out to explain that. And that is questionable. That is also very suspicious that the position of INEC. And also, to respond to your second question, what we also expect that since there's still going to some parts of the state have not now election could not hold and a rerun is going to hold, then it means that the election process is still ongoing, has not completed. So why now announce why
are you answering all the questions I'm yet to ask? Because I was going to ask that how do you declare a winner without a conclusive election?
That's good. So that links me to the question you asked of the position of Dino Melaye and the SDP candidate. So we also from the civil society, we are not really particular about who comes in. We are particularly interested in the process. And we want to ensure that the process is fair, is credible. Are you getting me? And it's violence free. These are some of the things we want to ensure that we see. But for us, as civil society who went out to observe the election, we have not seen we've not seen in totality all of that. So it's also very, very questionable. We would expect that INEC should have waited until the entire process of the election is completed, especially in areas where there are issues, election could not hold. The entire process should have been completed before now, announcing a winner or coming out with a complete result that somebody declares someone as a winner. So that's my position.
Let me come back to you, Ms. Ayoka. Thank you very much, Eunice. It's interesting that a lot of people still don't. I had a conversation earlier today, and a lot of people do not agree with the fact Governor Hope Uzodinma was declared winner. Many people are saying, look, this particular vote, this winning has vindicated Governor Hope Uzodinma. He has even said it in his own words. He said, election victory has vindicated me. But there are those who are saying, well, we didn't vote for him. Of course, that's also something that can be debated because not everybody votes for a particular person. But there are people who are saying he's not done anything in the 4 years that he's been there. It's also very ridiculous for him to be able to win the votes of people, especially, I'm asking you again, in the areas where there's been violence over the years and nothing has been done about it. Also, here's a clip of the Labour Party candidate asking for a cancellation of that election. I want to play it out for you, then you can respond. Because he was captured by Channels Television on the day of the election asking for a cancellation.
For our agents, for the fact that we are going to upload all their pictures. There's a bit of a lot of our agents. This is crazy. This is what our democracy has, come to. But we are resisting. Can't you see the people here? Yes. They will not allow it. I hope it's the same thing going on everywhere. So that we can have proper democracy and bring in good governance.
In those areas, are you suggesting that they should cancel the results?
Of course, where this is happening, they must cancel it now. There's no other alternative than to cancel it so that every person will come there and watch it conducted. So very wrong.
Okay, so there you go, Mr. Ayoka. He's asking for a cancellation. So I'll ask you the same question I asked Eunice. If some of these areas, they're yet to be proper elections, why announce a winner?
For us, again, also as my colleague said, the issue is not the...
Oh, Mr. Ayoka, we lost you there. Can you hear me? Mr. Ayoka, are you there? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right, go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yes, please. I can hear you. Go ahead.
Okay. So as I said, for us, the issue is the process, not the...
I'm so sorry. I'm sure that you're having connection issues where you are, Mr. Ayoka. We'll give it a try one more time. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Well, I think that we're having connection issues with Tony Ayoka, who is one of our guests from the Situation Room in Imo State. Tony Ayoka is the Program Director, Habitatcare Initiative. He's also part of the Civil Society Situation Room in Imo State. Mr. Ayoka, can you hear me again? Can you hear me now? Well, in case Mr. Ayoka comes back, we can take his thoughts before we go on our first break. Because when we come back from that break, I want to bring you in, if you're listening, as we're looking at a report from civil society situation room in both Kogi and Imo. Our Bielsa counterpart is unable to join us because there's been a downtime for connection, internet connection in Bielsa, and he's unable to patch through to us. But you could join the conversation, share your thoughts and your comments. You have questions for our guests who are in the situation room, both in Kogi and in Imo states. Feel free to join the conversation. 0700 993 993 993 0700 993 993 993. Let's take your calls while we try to reestablish connection with our guest. Hello, welcome to Hard Facts.
Good afternoon, Miriam.
Good afternoon.
The question I wanted to ask your guest is this. This is Asoladipo.
Go ahead.
Calling from Orilegum. That agent, what was his offense? The one in the collation room at Imo State. What was his offense? That in the glare presence of pressmen, including police officers and every other person, that they were beating him. Was it that he was trying to snatch the collation result? Because I can't understand. If on the national television like that, somebody is being beaten, what happened in the field? That is my question to your guest.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for calling, Pastor Ladipo. I appreciate it. All right, we'll take one more call. I don't know, Mr. Ayoka, if you can hear us now. Are you back? Can you hear us? Hello, welcome to Hard Facts.
Hello, good afternoon, Marianne.
Good afternoon.
My name is Ndubisi.
Ndubisi, go ahead. You have 60
from
seconds.
Nigeria.
Go ahead, quickly.
I'm from Imo State, in Ngopala local government.
Mm-hmm.
My people, they're in the bush. They did not do an election in Ngopala. There is no vote in Ngopala. My father, my brothers, all of them, they're in the forest. The heavy presence of security, army, DSS, police, with AK-47, nobody come out to vote. I wonder how hope win from my local government.
When you say nobody came out to vote, are you saying that there's not even one person, and there were polling units in that Ngoka local government? You're saying nobody came out to vote. And how do you know this? Because you're in Lagos. How do you know this?
Everything that happened there, my own local government, my people give me feedback.
Okay.
Every people, they're in the bush, they're in the forest. They do not come outside. You only fowl and goat and the security men. Nobody come outside. I'm from Ngopala local government, OBK. That's the name of my village, where I'm from.
Okay.
Let people call and confirm.
All right.
What I'm telling you, I'm from OBK Ngopala local government.
All right. Thank you very much for calling. I'm not letting you go because I'm just letting you go because of time. But my guest, Eunice Abimbola, is still here. Of course, Tony Ayoka. Both of them are from Civil Society Situation Room in Kogi and Imo. We've lost connection with Tony Ayoka, but he will try and join us back. We'll go on a quick break. When we come back from that break, my guests are still here and they'll be taking your thoughts and your comments. Stay with us. It's still Hard Facts, 99.3 Nigeria Info.
This is an infomercial.
Are you a designer? Do you love football? If your answer is yes, then you should definitely pay attention to this. Who knows? You might just be winning yourself some money while showing your team spirit and creativity. So here's the gist. Team Wazobia, our female football champions, are gearing up to take on the world at the Global Goals World Cup 2023. And all this is going down at the prestigious Muson Center, Mobalaji Johnson Stadium, Okon, Lagos Island. And this time, we're projecting the awareness for SDG 16, which represents the need for peace, justice, strong institutions, and building a sustainable future through this tournament. And you are not left out. Yes, you too can play a big part and stand a chance to win 100,000 naira cash prize. Yes, I'm not kidding. You can participate in the outfit design contest and stand a chance to win 100,000 naira cash. To take part in this, all you have to do is design a vest that the football players would love, all in creative Team Wazobia colors. 2. Include SDG 16 on your design, representing peace, justice, and strong institutions. Then send your entries to styleme@wazobiafm.com and be sure to share them on your social media with the hashtags #TeamWazobia2023, #UNGGWCup2023, and #TakeTheBall. Share with the hashtags Team Wazobia 2023, #UNGGWCup 2023, and hashtag take the ball. Visit www.wazobiafm.com for more information, including the color codes and other details on how you can stand with Team Wazobia. Be a part of this historic moment as we kick for change. GGW Cup Nigeria 2023, where passion meets.
The students in Lagos will fight out in the Better Difference Debate Tournament to test who deserves the crown. Head to head.
You mentioned that traditional rulers are symbols near God power. This is not correct.
Some hoodlums have respect for their traditional rulers. This is even more of a threat.
Point for point.
Terrorism, which is a serious issue in academics, would only escalate rapidly.
How can erratic rainfalls, drought, and flooding help agriculture?
Greatest of rebuttals.
Every single speech made by politicians are already being manipulated by the media.
Well, my rebuttal to that is that all that one helps.
And the smoothest of closings. I Beg to Differ School Debate Tournament on Nigeria in OFM Lagos. Are you ready?
So, homegirl, I need an affordable high-end phone. Samsung just launched the S23 series fan edition. It's fully loaded. It's backed with a powerful processor, a 90-gram camera, smart battery, the Samsung Knox protection, and the Samsung Care Plus cover for screen
Just take some arguments for Eunice. Eunice is back with this one says my name is Stanley. I am from Ahia Azu local government in Umo Kurika. There was no election in my local government, but Hope Uzodinma won there as well. Someone here says INEC simply applied the principle of margin of lead to declare the winner despite outstanding voting. However, it's a bloody waste of time and resources to conduct such, he said. This one says, okay. Thank you for your messages. I'm going to come back to Eunice, try to get David Tony back on the phone lines. But then there's still calls talking about Kogi and Imo and looking at what's happening. Unfortunately, our Bielsa counterparts with the Situation Room was unable to join us because, of course, they're also having a downtime with connection out there. 0700 993 993 993. Thank you so much, Mr. Abimbola, for staying with us on the line and being patient during that break. But here are some calls that are coming in for you, obviously. Hello. Turn off your radio, please.
I'm sorry. Hello, Mariam.
Yes.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I will not call you Amaka today because I'm not happy.
Go ahead.
Yeah. See, I've said it in Joyce show. The election in Nigeria, in fact, what is happening, if we don't correct it now, it keep on going. You know, when I was growing up, I used to hear that when they push you to the wall, you bounce back. But now, what is happening now? Hello?
I'm listening.
We're gotten to the stage that whereby when you push a Nigerian, they will push down the wall, even push the gate, keep on moving. That's why you hear some callers say, let's move forward. They're moving forward when your gate has fall, your fence has fall. In the night, you don't even know what to protect you. They are moving forward. That is why we are here now. Look at the election. You know that for the past 2 years, I've not traveled in Imo State. I'm from Molo. I and my husband, we have not traveled. The last time we traveled, we sleep in the forest, the bush. My husband slept in the bush. Hello?
I'm listening. Quickly, get to the point.
Because of the security. Now, both of them are one in the whole 27 local governments. Don't think about it. Even if some people say, did you travel? Did you go there? Did you vote? I don't need to go to the river to see that the water is colorless. I know that the water is colorless already. So what I'm saying now is, I've already said it, the political parties, if they can be able to stop all this, in fact, let them go and negotiate with the INEC and the judiciary.
Okay.
That is the election in Nigeria. INEC, judiciary, once you negotiate with them, they will just give you whatever you want. That is the election we have. And another one, hello?
No, there's no time. I'm sorry. You've almost exhausted 2 minutes and we don't have time. We have just 6 minutes on the clock. I'm going to come back to you, Ms. Eunice. As civil society, what are you pushing for? Because many would say that the off-cycle elections is always a time for INEC to learn from the mistake that it made back in the general elections to correct it. But did you see any correction whatsoever in these elections that just finished?
Okay, thank you very much. Well, just like we have also observed, there are a lot of improvements, in the operations of INEC. Improvements, in the area of deployment of all the electoral materials. At least we also observed when the materials arrived at CBN. We also observed the deployment of the materials to various local governments, various reservation area wards across the state. We were together with the REC, from the Nigerian Civil Society Situation Room. We visited him to also hear directly their level of preparedness. And we observed that, so there's a lot of improvement. And then we also noticed that, INEC also arrived, most of the polling units, they got there in a good time, at least between 8 and 9 have gotten there, they set up, waiting for electorate to come out to cast their franchise. But however, we also saw a lot of gaps where we were not expecting, like in the case of Kogi. This is, to hear that signed result sheets, with IREC, with INEC officials, is also something that is very, very disturbing. So that is also taking us backwards, and we cannot say that is progress. But however, we know that in certain areas, there's a lot of progress that INEC have made. But I think internally, there are still a lot of, things to resolve internally. We know that, usually in organizations, you will always have bad eggs. And we want to believe that it's the bad eggs now that are also, carrying out all these operations. But however, it calls for proper monitoring, proper follow-up, so that even when, materials are deployed to various local government, various wards, there's still need for independent, monitoring to follow up, the whole process and to ensure that, there's transparency, there's accountability, there's fairness, and everything is done rightly. So yes, to a large extent, there's a lot of improvement, but at the same time, we are also seeing, some new challenges that are also showing up, in this off-cycle election that we, particularly the one we experienced in Kogi State.
As civil society, there have been queries by several people, senior advocates of Nigeria, certain political parties, chieftains, saying that INEC has, in fact, the Senate and Mr. President nominated certain persons who are partisan in nature, and these people have been made to work in INEC. Is that a concern for you as civil society organization?
Sorry, can you take that question again?
The question is about the concerns that have been raised about, civil society organizations, by civil society organizations, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, and several other people about INEC having partisan commissioners within its ranks. What's your reaction as civil society on this issue as we close?
Oh, yes. From what we are seeing now, with all that is happening around election, and particularly what we have seen in this Kogi, this off-cycle election, not Kogi alone, Kogi, Mupaesa generally, it's very obvious that INEC they are not independent, because there's a whole lot of control, there's a whole lot of influence, there's a whole lot of manipulation that we can see going on within INEC. So, of course, most of the, just as civil society has also, protested in some of the, some of the
nominations, yes.
Some of the nominations, exactly, that is questionable. Some of them are political party members, card-carrying members, and all of that. So, INEC, just as it's called independent, electoral, commission. But we now see that INEC is not independent because INEC is basically, being controlled, being manipulated, and being monitored by, by the powers that be.
Okay.
So I think the question now is bringing us to the place where that we need to really define properly INEC and find a proper place for the appointment of who should actually head INEC. So
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Our time is fast spent, and I'm so sorry. I have to say thank you. Eunice Abimbola is the program director, Habitatcare Initiative, and she's a member of the Civil Society Situation Room in Kogi State. Thank you so much, Ms. Abimbola, for being with us on Hard Facts today. Unfortunately, time is not on our side. Thank you.
Correct. Executive Director, Parenthood.
Challenge Parenthood. I beg your pardon. All right. Thank you very much for coming on the show. Well, Lagos, this is where we wrap things up on Hard Facts. I want to thank you all for being part of the conversation. Tomorrow, we return from 3 o'clock, talking for development only with facts. I'm Mary Okon.
More conversation, more talk, more right after this.
99.3 Nigeria Info. We are more than just radio. Subscribe to our YouTube channel at Nigeria Info FM. Check us out on Facebook at Nigeria Info 99.3. Follow us on Twitter at Nigeria Info FM and on Instagram at Nigeria Info FM Lagos for live updates as it